Okay, so we're all on our backs. Let's take a few deep breaths in through the nose and either out through the nose or a sigh out through the mouth. Just using these couple breaths as a transition from my blabbing and whatever you had going on before to time on your mat. In through the nose, letting the belly expand, rib cage expand, feeling the body press into the mat a little bit more. And out through the mouth or out through the nose. And then when you're ready, bend your knees, taking the feet as wide as the hips, and start to rock the knees side to side. For those of you here, I do have the heat on. It doesn't seem to be like pumping very well. So if you get hot, I turned it all the way up to 75. So if you get hot, let me know and I'll turn it down a bit. So as your knees rock side to side, if you feel a spot where you just want to pause for a breath or two, take that chance. Let your muscles stretch out. You might feel it in so many places. Your quads, or your hip flexor, or some of your core muscles. Most of you were here last week. We really focused on the hips and shoulders. I really like focusing on hips, especially during the winter, both to get extra mobility, but also to get some strength, just because the hips are really important for balance. And while we're walking on these extra icy roads and sidewalks and driveways, balance is super important so that we don't fall and break something like our hip. And then when you feel, again, ready to transition, extend your legs up to the sky. You can keep a bend in the knees if you want to. And then also extend the arms up to the sky, keeping the shoulders on the mat. So we're not reaching like we sometimes do. Then open the arms and legs to a V, and then close them. Pretend like you are in honey or molasses. So try to resist your own motion as you open and close. Maybe closing on the exhale. Inhaling to open, creating space. Exhaling to close. 2 more times. And the next time you come close, bend the knees and rock side to side. And then plant one foot and let the other foot extend once again up to the sky. And then we're going to lower this leg, thinking about our core. And the moment we feel our back kind of starting to arch, we're going to stop the leg. We're going to pause just for a little bit, and then we're going to lift the leg back. So we're being gentle here with our core. So down again. So you can pause halfway down. You can pause like an inch off the mat if your core is strong. Your hands can be on your belly. What I don't want your belly to do is pooch out. So I want the back to be flat on the mat So you're actually tucking your tail a bit, and I want the belly to be your natural state, not pooched out at all. If you're pooching out, that means that your core has lost integrity. Do about 2 more. The slower, the better. And you might not feel this at all, you might feel it. If you feel it, that's great. I hope you feel it. But if you don't feel it, because your core is a little bit stronger than, like, say, mine, then you might be a little bit sore tomorrow. So if you're sore tomorrow in your core, just do some gentle cobras or anything that can stretch your core that is doable for you. Okay, do your last one. And then bend that knee into the chest. And then circle that knee a bit, getting into the hip. So hopefully your right leg or your left leg, I didn't specify. So we're gonna switch sides after we circle the other direction. Good. And you can use your hands to help you circle. And then when you're ready, just shake out that leg a little bit. Kick towards the sky, shake out the ankle, shake out the foot, and then relax it down on the mat. Keep both knees bent, and just notice for a moment. How does your one side that you just worked compare to your other side? Is it a little bit tingly? Does it feel like you have more blood flow? Can you notice the difference at all? And then when you're ready, extend the other leg up to the sky. Good. When you're ready, exhale, lower, keep the back flat on the mat. Maybe keep your hands on your lower abdomen to make sure that you're not getting any sort of pooch. And then lengthen back up to the sky. So gently and slowly, working the core. So this type of motion works the really deep core muscles, which are actually more important than the more surface core muscles that give you like the six pack. So if you want a strong core, it's less important that you get a six pack than strengthen these more internal core muscles. Keep going, do maybe 2 more. Moving with your breath, noticing your breath as you move. Maybe it starts to quicken because you're working. And then when you're ready, bend the knee and start circling that knee. Using your hands for assistance if you need to. You have the strength in your leg to make the circles bigger. Go ahead and do that. The more mobility, the better in these hips of ours. And then switch direction. And then kick that leg out. Flop the foot around all directions. And then bring the leg back down. And just once again, notice. How do the 2 sides feel compared to each other? And then rock the knees one more time. And then eventually, when the knees are over to one side, bring that opposite shoulder over to that side as well. Come all the way up to a seated position. We're going to work today a little bit on balance. And so we are going to end up standing up. So if that's something you're not used to doing, because mostly you come to my class, just mentally prepare yourself for that. So now that we're seated, let's just take a moment or two to let our body transition to this new position. And then inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky. Exhale over to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale over to the left. And then once again, as always, make it your own. If you want to pause on one side for a breath or two, feel free to do that. And then move with your breath through center to the other side. Trying to keep the shoulders even, trying to keep the sits bones both grounded. And then the next time you go to the left, which is your second side, and you come back to center, come forward. Any amount, wherever your body stops you is fine. Let the head hang heavy. And then walk the hands towards your body, rolling up through the back. Switch the cross of the legs. Inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. Exhale, come forward for a couple of breaths. Recognizing that this is your non-dominant side, so it might be tighter. Just accepting what is, both in your body and what's outside. You can't control most of it. So just acknowledging and accepting and moving forward with extra knowledge. Walk the hands towards the body, rolling up through the spine. Chin stays tucked until the very last moment. Let's swing the legs off to one side and come over onto hands and knees. When you get there, go ahead and start some cat-cows. So you can do just regular cat-cows, or if you know any variations that you like, feel free to take those. 6 or 7 rounds. Inhaling into cow, and wag the tail. Exhaling into cat, rounding the back, tucking the chin. And then start to come back to neutral table. When you're ready, inhale the right arm up to the sky. And then exhale, bring it under the left arm and then come all the way down to your shoulder and the side of your head for thread the needle. You can keep your left hand right where it is for support. You can bring the left elbow down. You can extend the left arm above the head, palm touches the mat, or you can wrap it around your back. Lots of options. Deep breaths, no matter what you choose. And then bring the left arm back so that the palm is in front of the face. Press into that palm to come up. Take any wiggles or movements that you want between sides. And then on your next inhale, left arm to the sky, and then reach the left arm under the right. In to thread the needle, try to choose the same arm option on this side. Deep breaths. And then wherever your right arm is, bring it back in front of your face, push into that palm to come back up, eagle. So I'm gonna suggest a way to stand up. You do not have to take my way. If you have a different way to stand up that is better for your body, but I'm gonna suggest that you bring the right foot forward and then tuck the left foot and try to stand and then hop that left foot up so that you are in a forward fold, knees bent, and let your head hang heavy. Arms can dangle, they can take opposite elbows. Just spend a moment here in forward fold. And then start to slowly roll up. So if you had opposite elbows, let go. Keep the knees bent. Roll up through the spine slowly, slowly, so your blood can catch up with your head. Chin stays tucked until the very last moment, and then lift the head. So once again, just take a moment to, you're not like back far enough for you guys to see my head. Take a moment to have your body adjust so that it's like ready to be standing again. And then let's monkey drum. So step feet wider than the hips. You're gonna kind of bend the knees, let the arms swing freely. And kind of lift up onto the toe that you're going away from if you have that balance available to you. Try to let your arms totally loose so they like flap against your body on each side. And slow it down. And then bring feet together. So if you have an extra thick mat, you might want to step off the mat for the balance pose. And if you know your balance is a little unsteady, you might want to stand next to a wall. So feel free to move wherever or whatever you can hang on to. So feet pretty close together. And then bring hands to heart center. Find something in front of you that you can gaze at. Shift the weight into the right foot. Lift the left foot to the toes and then turn out the knees and the toes. You only have one knee. That knee and the toes. And then you can, it's hard to see my foot, I think, on the video, but you can kickstand the heel. And so this might be your tree pose. This is already a really good balance. Maybe you'll bring the foot up onto the calf. So you're standing only on one foot. A few breaths here. The drishti, the focal point that your eyes have, is really important for balance. And then maybe you're going to grow your branches. So moving your upper body kind of extra tests your balance. And then maybe play with it. Maybe bring your arms out to the side. You can do palms down, palms forward, palms up. Maybe bring your hands down by your hips. And then maybe bring your hands back to heart center. Okay, without letting the toes touch maybe the ground. Try to bring the knee forward and extend the leg out and kick. Good job. Shake it out, especially that standing ankle. Hopefully you feel a little fatigued in that ankle. That's good. That means that it's working, or that leg, wherever you happen to find it. Okay, hands back at heart center. Feet, weight even in both feet. And then shift onto your left foot. Right foot comes to the toes, knee and toes move out towards the side. It can be a 45-degree angle or further, but 45 degrees is fine. And then find your tree pose. So always avoiding the knee in tree pose. Here comes a train. Oh, it's so quiet. It's not like honking while it goes right by the studio. What's going on? It's really soft. Grow your branches if you're taking that option. Keep breathing. Keep focusing on that spot on the wall or that spot on the ground. Arms maybe out to the sides. Shoulders away from the ears. Maybe arms down next to the hips. Hands back to heart center. And then maybe bring the knee forward, extend the leg, and kick. Good job. And shake out that standing foot. Nice work. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of forward bending. So if this is not something that your body is used to, feel free to slow it down. And maybe like when I do 2, you do 1. Or you can skip 1 and just stay in Tadasana. So it's not going to go super fast, but, and you can come back to your mat unless you want a wall. So let's inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky. Bend into the knees a bit. Exhale, hinge from the hips, come down. You can always take your hands to your shins or your arms or your hands to your thighs for extra support if you don't feel super balanced here. You can start to straighten the knees a bit if you have space in your quadriceps, but really, I just want the blood flow to change. So I want us to be a little bit more upside down than we usually get in a gentle class. And then you're going to start to roll up. Arms dangle, chin stays tucked until the very last moment. Knees stay bent until you get to the top. Take a breath. On the next inhale, sweep your arms up. Maybe lift the chin and look up. Exhale, bend the knees, hinge from the hips, come down into a forward fold. Take a breath here. Take one more breath. And then when you start to inhale, roll up. Keeping these bent the whole time just gives you extra little balance. Take a breath once you're up. And then on your next inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, bend the knees, hinge from the hips, come forward. This time, on an inhale, half lift. So flatten the back, look kind of forward a little bit so your neck is long. And then exhale, fold. Beautiful. Pause. And then when you start your next inhale, slowly, slowly, slowly roll up. We're going to do one more. And then we're going to go down. So we're not going to come back up to standing. So enjoy your breath here. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, bend the knees, fold. Inhale, half lift. Bring the hands up the legs. Then exhale, fold, hang for a breath. Make sure the neck is relaxed so the head is hanging. And then bend the knees even more so that you can at least get your fingertips down and then choose a leg to bring back. Tippy toes, knee gently down. Yep, and then other leg, so we're back in table. Beautiful. You guys did awesome. Good job. Okay, inhale, reach the right leg behind your body. Pause there. If you want to reach your left arm, you can. And then on your next exhale, bring the right knee, maybe the left hand back to table. Inhale, left leg. So we're just holding for a breath. You can add the arm if you want. Beautiful. On your next exhale, bring the knee and the arm down. Inhale. Right leg goes back. Maybe left arm goes forward. Your next exhale, come back to center. And the very next inhale, extend the left leg back, maybe the right arm. And then your next exhale, come back. Come into child's pose or puppy pose if you prefer. Whatever you want to relax. So focus on the breath here. We just did a lot of strengthening. We did a lot of movement compared to what we normally do. Maybe your heart rate is a little bit elevated. Use your breath to bring your heart rate back down. So how do you do that? Lengthen your breath. Make your body breathe a longer inhale. And make your body breathe an even longer exhale. I think I told all of you about the breath workshop that I virtually attended. And we can trick our brains to thinking that we are okay and that we are calm, whether we have just run a marathon or whether someone is in crisis around us. And all we need to do is breathe. So when you take like 5, 6, 10 deep inhales and really long exhales, within, like usually if you take a long breath, it takes about 10 seconds. So that would take you 1.5 minutes to take 9. And within 1.5 minutes, you can lower your blood pressure. You can lower your heart rate. And so those are important things, right? Both in our everyday health and in moments of chaos or crisis or panic. Okay, when you feel ready, inhale, lift the head and shoulders just enough so that you can walk the hands over to one side to get a side body stretch. You might find that your head doesn't hit the ground. That's okay. Just let that head or the neck relax so the head hangs heavy. Hopefully you feel a stretch either in your side, across your shoulder, or in your arm. You might feel some compression in your hip flexor. That is okay. But if it's pain, then back off. Inhale, lift the head and shoulders. Walk the hands all the way over to the left. And then drape. Inhale, walk the hands back to center. 2 more long breaths. And then come up just enough so that you can sit your hips off to one side, bring the legs around, center yourself in your mat, and then however you want to, let's roll down to our back. Once you get there, bend your knees. And align your ankles to your sits bones. A little bit of core prep before we go into bridge. So once again, when you inhale, I like to use the inhale. Some people use the exhale, but whatever breath pattern you like, let's press the low back onto the mat. Again, this is working the deep core muscles. And then when you do the other part of the breath, so for me, exhale, let it go. And maybe even overarch so that your back pops up off the mat a little bit more than it normally would do. So we're kind of doing cat-cow, right, on the mat. So inhale, press the low back onto the mat. Exhale, come back to your neutral position, and then choice to arch. Inhale, straighten out that natural curve in the spine and the low spine. Exhale, come back to the natural curve, and then maybe accentuate the natural curve. And you'll feel like maybe your ribs are moving up and down the mat. That's okay. But it should be a small movement. More. Once again, maybe you don't feel your core working, and that's okay. Sometimes I don't feel this work at all, and then the next day I'm like, oh my goodness, I am so sore. So I don't want you to be super sore, so drink water today, but if you are super sore, this is why. Okay, the next time you press your low back onto the mat, also press your hands into your mat next to your hips, and then start to lift your hips into bridge. Option here to flow the bridge, also option to hold the bridge. So if you're flowing, exhale, open down, let the hips hit, and then allow that curve in the spine to come back. And then inhale, press the low spine onto the back, and come up into bridge. And you can hold for a breath, or you can flow right away. You can hold for 3 breaths, and then down for a break, and then back up. Up to you how you want to spend your bridge time. If you love bridge and you practice bridge a lot, you can always start to lift one leg into the sky. That takes a little bit more strength, both in your legs and in your core, so you can lift a leg, you can cross that leg over, the other leg into figure 4. I often find that when I lift a leg, my hips sink a little bit, so then encourage those hips to lift. If you're lifting a leg, and then always make sure you rest. Last bridge, whether you're holding or whether you're flowing, take one more breath. And then come back down. Counter pose, knees into chest. Rock side to side if you want to, or you can remain still. And then bring the feet back to the mat, open the knees, let the feet come to the sides so that the soles of the feet can meet each other. Supta Baddha Konasana. Option to lift arms overhead, just to get a little extra space in the torso. You can also come to cactus arms. If arms overhead doesn't feel good, you can also keep hands on the belly to connect with your breath. Lots of options. and making us move, or I'm offering the chance to move a little bit more today than usual. So really take advantage of the rests in between. Slowing the heart again, especially if you've went through a bridge flow. I'm caught in like a word that I don't know. What's the past tense of flow for yoga? Is it like flowed? Flume? I don't know. So if you can figure that out for me, that would be great. But if you went through a bridge flow, you might have elevated your heart rate a little bit. If you can reach your thighs, go ahead and use your hands to help the knees come back together. Spread the feet a little bit wider than the hips, plant the soles of the feet, and let the knees rock towards each other. I like to turn my toes in a bit towards each other as well. That helps this inward rotation, which is a counterpose to the outward rotation that Supta Baddha Konasana, or supine cobbler's pose is. And then let the knees come back towards center, rearrange the feet so that they're in line. And then pull the right knee into the chest. Left leg goes down the mat. Hold the knee with just the left hand so that the right arm can go out to a T. And then gently and slowly twist so that the left leg comes across the body. Keep the right shoulder engaged and grounded to the mat, so the left foot might dangle in the air. You can keep, the right foot, the right knee. You can keep the left hand on the right knee to help encourage it to move when there is space that opens, or you can bring the left arm to a T as well. You can do whatever you want with your left arm. If you'd like to turn the head to the right, go ahead and take that option. And then if you want to, you can start moving the arm with the breath, the right arm. So exhaling, remitting it in towards the body, palm faces the ground. And then inhale to come back up to a T, flip the palm up towards the sky. Keep inhaling to bring it all the way up next to the head. This just improves shoulder mobility. Exhale to bring it down. Inhale to bring it up, flipping the palm at the T. So the top half of the palm is up, the bottom half of the palm is down. That's something to remember, right? Inhaling is going up, exhaling is coming down. And then when you feel done with that little flow, bring the arm back to a T. When you're ready, and twist back to center. Hold that right knee in, bend the left foot, plant the left foot onto the mat, and then let the right leg cross onto the left thigh. Figure 4. Maybe this is where your figure 4 is today. Maybe your left leg can lift and find some extra space to stretch that hip. Breathing deeply. Lots of options here. The left leg can reach up to the sky. It can also just have the lower leg dangle. You can rotate the left ankle one direction and the other direction. You can rock gently side to side. Being careful, of course, especially as you go to the left, increases the stretch. 2 more deep breaths. And then if the left leg is lifted, let's all meet with the left foot planted on the mat. Uncross the right foot. Take any wiggles or motions that you want between sides. And then within a breath, bring that left knee in towards the chest. Right leg extends down the mat. Take the knee with just the right hand so the left hand can go out to a T. And then gently and slowly twist across the body. Left shoulder stays grounded. Right hand can help the knee get closer to the ground as space permits. Deep breaths, and then if you want to do that motion on this side, again, exhale brings the arm down. Inhale brings the arm up, flipping the palm at the T. It's really good for the shoulder. This motion during the twist is called therapeutic yoga, which is different kind of motions that a yoga teacher and a physical therapist created together. So it's a yoga pose with some physical therapy type motions and exercises. When you're ready, bring the arm back to a T, take a breath. Notice the twist. You gain any extra space in the torso, in the hip, and the amount that you can twist. Maybe it's just in your breath, or maybe the space is just in your mind or your heart. Bring the knee back to center, gently and slowly. Pull the knee in with 1 or 2 hands, and then bend the right foot or right leg, plant the right foot, and then cross the left ankle onto the right thigh. Take a moment. Maybe this is where you're going to stop. Maybe you can go to the next level of figure 4, all the same options on this side. Try to do the same as you did on the last side. So if you rolled out the ankle, do that again. If you extended the leg up to the sky, do that again. If you rocked side to side, do that again. Make it your own. Trying to commune with your own body, your own mind, your own spirit. Every time we step on the mat, it's a chance to get to know ourselves better, to get to know what we need in the moment, and also to learn what we want in the moment. And those are 2 very different things, right? I always want cookies. But I don't always need cookies. Sometimes I need cookies. But getting to know yourself well enough so that you can make that differentiation between what you need and what you want is really important. I think I said one other time, I think that self-care is this careful balance between self-discipline and self-indulgence. And so I think that's the difference between knowing what you need and what you want. If the right leg is in the air, let it come back down to the mat. Uncross the left leg. 2 minutes of yogi playtime here. So you could do a happy baby, you could do another bridge, you could do more core work, you could do lots of things. You guys know all the things, I think. So feel free to do whatever feels best to you. Your breath steady and slow. Or yoga is always the breath. If you're doing something with sides, go ahead and switch sides. And just like I sometimes need cookies, sometimes we just need an extra rest. So you can always use your yogi playtime for extra shavasana time. That is totally acceptable. We all need more shavasana. Finish up whatever it is that you are doing and get yourself into your final relaxation pose. Hips relax so the feet fall out to the sides. Let your breath come and go as it wishes. Allow your body to totally relax. And just notice when your mind wanders, because it will. The best or the key to meditation is to start again. Every time the mind wanders, we get to start again. And that is the practice of meditation. Use this time to start again. And then start again. And then start again. begin to deepen the breath. Waken your body, rolling out wrists and ankles. Eventually bending one knee and planting the foot and then the other. Maybe pushing into the feet to release the low back. And then however you want to slowly come up to a seat, maybe rolling over onto one side and pushing yourself up with the strength of your arms. And then once you get there, just lengthening the spine, taking a deep breath and then exhaling the right ear towards the right shoulder. Pausing for a breath. And then when you feel ready, gently and slowly taking the chin towards the chest. So slowly, because maybe there's going to be a spot where you want to pause because you feel some tension and take a breath. And then eventually your left ear will be going towards your left shoulder. Shining right in my eyes, but it feels amazing. I want some more back. And then maybe going the other direction, letting the chin slowly rotate down and around, pausing if there's a place where there's a little extra tension. Taking a breath, trying to create a little bit of let go with the exhale especially. And then eventually, again, the right ear, the first ear to the first shoulder. I'm all confused on my sides. And then take that hand where you're leaning towards and push your head back up to the center. Inhale, sweep the arms, feel those shoulders up to the sky, reach, 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 and then bring the hands towards heart center. The light in me sees and honors the light in each of you. Namaste. Namaste.